The Survivalist series is a show that I run on my channel that features aspects of survival and bushcrafting in DayZ that are usually overlooked by players because in the current state of the game, many of these features are not required to survive for long periods of time. However, those who choose to limit their playstyle to explore these features typically highly recommend it to their friends who may be bored of the game and looking for something else to do. Today, I'm going to be discussing some of the ideas and items that I would love to see implemented into DayZ to increase the depth of bushcraft survival. Let's start off with number 1, stashes. We all know that improvised structures will be coming to DayZ down the road. This includes building walls, acquiring generators for power, and constructing small buildings. One aspect I would love to see more focus on is stashes rather than bases. I strongly believe that the best way to save your gear in DayZ is by hiding it rather than building massive epoch towers in the middle of a random field. Here are some of the ideas I've had for improvised stashes. A lean-to structure is one of the most common survival structures used in the real world. We already know that you'll be able to craft a leather hide tent, but it would be also interesting if you can craft a wooden lean-to that only requires rope, logs, and wooden sticks. You could even expand this to allow attachments for campfires and other craftable things to allow survivors to slowly expand their camp. Players should also have the option to dig holes in the ground using shovels to create improvised ground stashes. Obviously, storage space would be limited, but it would add an additional use for the entrenchment tool and shovels, possibly degrading them each time you try to access the stash. Number 2, hemp. This is one that has already been confirmed to be coming into the game. When it was announced over a year that hemp would eventually make it into the game, I'm sure most assumed that you'd be smoking it. However, hemp is one of the most reliable cordage materials in the world. We can only assume that players will be growing and manufacturing industrial hemp to be used in building structures in the future rather than using nails, but it'd also be nice to see it used for fishing rods, bow drills, improvised bows, backpacks, and tying up players. I can already see large clans gathering up this material before going out on bandit runs just to tie people up. One of the additional uses for hemp would also be for Hemp Hearts, which is a protein gathered by the plant material that is edible, and also it could potentially be used as a painkiller grown by players, making it the first improvised medicine in the game. Number 3, weapons. Right now there are only a few survival weapons in the game. We have the improvised bow, which is crafted with a wooden stick plus rope. We have an improvised spear, which is crafted with a wooden stick plus bone. We also have improvised traps by making grenade traps with sticks, grenades, and rope. So there's obviously room for additional survival options for servers that may want to tone down weapons in the future. For example, the creation of a Slamfire Shotgun. This would be done with a steel pipe, a hacksaw, nails, and tape. Nail traps, which would work similar to bear traps with a wooden board plus nails. Craftable crossbow bolts. Please, Bohemia, I want some craftable crossbow bolts in my life. And one of my favorite ideas is the slingshot. I think there's already a lot of room for the slingshot in the game. You can find stones, you'd be able to use your pickaxe to hit a rock for stones, and maybe use a rock hammer to smash that stone into slingshot rounds. I think a slingshot would be really good, especially for people who are more of the hero and survivalist playstyle. Maybe if you hit somebody in the head, it's not an instant kill, it just knocks them out for a long period of time, giving people the opportunity to get in there, duct tape them, question the person, and potentially let them go. And obviously having different rounds for the slingshot, like steel balls, lead balls, things like that. I think the slingshot definitely deserves to be in DayZ, and even used for small game hunting like rabbits, chickens, things like that. So those are some of the improvised weapons that I would like to see in the game, and obviously let me know some more in the comment section below. Next is improved fishing. Right now, fishing sort of works. You craft a fishing rod, you find a hook, you dig up a worm, and then you sit next to a pond or the sea and keep pressing check the bait until you feel something tugging. It's basically just reading information in the lower left corner of the screen until it turns red, and then you hit the pullout option. It would be awesome if you could find a bobber that you could actually watch to see if there's a fish near your bait. Currently there's a small bottle trap as well, but it'd be nice to also be able to craft larger traps for different types of fish, larger fish, or even shellfish. Also making a trap line with stick plus rope, hooks and worms that you could set up on the side of the ocean to try to catch more than one fish at a time, in my opinion, would be a great idea. Last, we'll talk about clothing. Currently, we're only able to craft basic leather clothing. Although it's rather impressive when it all comes together, I would love to see a few more options. Some things that are already in the game files are like the fox hat, but I'll go into a little bit more detail. Since bears and wolves are coming into the game, it would also be nice to see some use with the pelts. Maybe being able to use a wolf pelt hat like from Fallout, or crafting some boots and jackets for more winter environments. I'm waiting for you, Namalsk. That would be awesome for a snow map. And also more interesting color and tanning options specifically for the hides. I know that there's lots of tanning options, lots of dyeing options for other clothing in the game, but we really only have two options for the leather, brown and black, and they're very similar to each other, so more options there would be awesome. I feel like giving players more cosmetic options when it comes to the pelts and hides would incentivize players, and more importantly groups, to go out of their way to create these clothing items to help make them stand out. And this would also be great for RP situations. Anyways guys, those are some of my ideas for survival in DayZ that I would love to see implemented into the game in the future. I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe for more daily content. I upload videos every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I also go live on Twitch every single day starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A link to that is in the description box below. I highly recommend you going over there and hitting the follow button because you'll be notified whenever I go live. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon.